Well, it's time for our weekly check-in with Burlington Mayor Marianne Meed Ward. And Mayor, you have been making headlines this week at the annual conference for the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. It seems the lead issue being discussed here revolves around the homelessness and mental health crisis that all municipalities are facing. So I can see the button right there that you are wearing. Tell me about SolveTheCrisis.ca.
This is a campaign that was launched by Ontario's big city mayors. We're the 29 mayors of the largest cities in Ontario. I am honored to be the chair of that organization. We've been advocating to the province, presenting policy briefs, meeting with ministers since 2021 on this issue, and it's only grown more acute. People are seeing growing encampments. People are feeling unsafe in their street. People are dying on the street of overdose, and it doesn't need to be this way. It's a humanitarian crisis. And so we as a caucus decided to launch this campaign. We have a number of asks, but two main ones are a single point of contact in the ministry to corral all the other upwards of 16 different ministries that touch this issue. We need one person that has the authority and the resources to get action on this. And we want sustainable funding, clearly. We want them to convene an action table. And that would bring together paramedics, first responders, healthcare workers, hospital, business associations, all of those organizations that have said, look, this is hurting our ability to do what we do. We need you to act. The time for talk is over. The solutions are there. So we launched the campaign, and a key part of that is that the public can add their voice. So we're inviting the public to say, yep, I care about this. I want the government to act. And they have SolveTheCrisis.ca. That's our webpage. Go there. And they can fill in their own reflections and observations of what they've seen and what this means to them. And we have gotten flooded hundreds and hundreds of emails all across the province. So people care about this. We care about this. And the time to act is now.
It really does feel like something that was mainly seen by a lot of municipalities of, oh, that's a big city problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not
Mm-hmm.
anymore. We've seen this spread dramatically over the past few years. And this actually leads us to our next topic because, well, I'll let you explain it. I mean, you were also front and center at the Ministers' Forum asking the provincial government about municipal fiscal reform. So what does this entail and how does it relate back to the issues that we just spoke about?
So municipalities are increasingly being asked to solve issues that are ever more complex and really belong in other areas of jurisdiction, provincial or federal. And mental health, addictions, homelessness, what we've just talked about, is one of those. The property tax base, which is the primary source of revenue for municipalities, was never intended to solve housing and homelessness, social services, mental health, healthcare issues. And yet, that is what we're doing. We are diverting funds that we are supposed to be spending on roads and parks and community centers to deal with those issues because it's simply unacceptable to allow people to die in our streets while we fight over jurisdiction. So municipalities are actually subsidizing the province in Halton to the tune of about $14 million a year, where we've taken on extra costs. And we finally said, look, enough. We need a new financial relationship with the provincial government, the federal government, and a different way of funding our services, not on an allocation base, because that's unpredictable. It's you don't know what you're going to get, and an allocation means they announce a program funding for something. You apply, you hope to get it. You may not. You may get some, but not all. It is not a way to plan the major long-term multi-million-dollar investments that we need in our community. So both the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Association of Municipalities have asked for a new deal with the government, essentially, and not just a new deal for the big cities. They're asking for that too. We need a new deal for all municipalities, a new relationship in the Federation, because the way municipalities are funded has not changed in 125 years since AMO's been in existence. And yet the challenges that we're being asked to face are ever more complex. So we'll keep asking for that. It's not the first time. We've been working on that issue for a year or two at all those association tables.
Well, obviously, you've built up support from your side of things, but I'm curious, these are two big asks and are making headlines as far as the media goes. What has the response been so far from the provincial government?
So the government has responded with, well, here's all the investments that we've made in those issues. And we're grateful. We're welcome for those investments and announcements. For example, there was 378 million announced for supportive housing and detox beds. That will address for 375 people, 375 beds. We have tens of thousands of people living in encampments. So it's a drop in the bucket. If you're not one of the communities that was lucky enough to get that funding, you're still limping along trying to solve this with property taxes. So it is not sustainable. It is not enough. It is piecemeal, and a funding announcement's not an action plan. So we've asked them convene a table. The solutions are out there, and then scale it across the province. Because if you invest in one community, you pull people from neighboring communities that don't have their services. So we see a lot of migration of people who are unhoused, and it's very disruptive for them. They leave their community that's familiar, their whatever support networks they have. And so we're asking for a comprehensive province-wide plan. As you said, this is rural, urban, northern, south. It is everywhere. And the community members that I hear from are saying, I don't care whose job it is, fix it, solve the crisis.
Hence the website. All right.
Hence the
Well, thank you
website.
so much for your time today. We will speak again soon and follow this story along. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much.